What if this season you've been trying to escape is preparing you? Sit with that, because maybe what you've called delay, heaven has called development, and maybe what you've called struggle has been shaping, because not every hard season is sent to stop you. Some are sent to strengthen you, and maybe that changes how you see your life, because maybe the pressure you feel is not proof something is wrong. Maybe it is proof something is being built. And I know sometimes pain makes that hard to believe, because when you're in the middle of struggle, everything feels heavy, slow, unclear. You start wondering, when will things change? When will breakthrough come? Why has this taken so long? But what if? The greater question is, what is this season building in me? Because seasons build. Every season builds. And perhaps this one is building capacity, depth, faith, discipline, strength, the kind of things that can carry greater things, because greater blessings need greater capacity. And maybe God has been enlarging yours. I know it has been uncomfortable. Growth usually is. Preparation often is. Pressure often is. But pressure does two things. It can break people or form them. And maybe it has been forming you more than you realize. Maybe the nights you kept believing formed you. Maybe the disappointments you survived formed you. Maybe the doors that shut formed you. Maybe even silence formed you. Because hidden seasons often carry deepest formation. And maybe what is being built in you now matters more than what you were waiting for. Because one day, what you carry internally will sustain what you receive externally. Read that again. And maybe this whole season has been preparing you for more than you can see. More peace, more purpose, more impact, more abundance, more life. And perhaps you are not falling behind. You are being prepared ahead. And if that is true, then even this hard chapter has meaning, sacred meaning. And maybe that changes everything. Some things are not delayed. They are developing. But because we live by timelines, we often misname sacred process. We call preparation delay. We call ripening slowness. We call becoming stagnation. But what if you have been misreading your season? What if life is not withholding, but forming? Because things that last are often built slowly, and God often builds slowly, deeply, carefully, because rushed things can collapse. Prepared things endure. And maybe God wants endurance in you more than speed around you. Maybe that's why this season lingers, because it carries deeper work. And maybe your frustration comes from wanting fruit, while roots are still deepening. But roots matter. Roots hold futures. And maybe heaven has been working in your roots, where nobody sees, where applause doesn't reach, where character forms. Because destiny is often decided underground, before it appears above ground. And maybe you are underground season right now, not buried, planted. There is a difference. Buried feels forgotten. Planted carries expectation. And perhaps you have mistaken planted seasons for abandoned seasons. No, seeds disappear before they emerge. And maybe emergence is coming. Maybe what feels delayed is ripening. And ripened things carry sweetness. Rushed things never do. Trust ripening. Trust process. Trust what feels slow. Because maybe it isn't delay. Maybe it's preparation with precision. And precision matters. Because what God times well arrives whole. And perhaps what you are waiting on is arriving whole. Hold on. Some people live looking backward at what they lost, what failed, what should have happened, what could have been. And backward living shrinks vision. But hear me. There is more in front of you than behind you. More possibility, more healing, more purpose, more joy, more becoming. And maybe you need to hear that today, because disappointment can make people believe their best moments passed. But what if your best moments are approaching? What if your deepest peace is ahead? What if your clearest purpose is ahead? What if the life you ache for is not behind some impossible wall, but approaching through process? Because future carries possibility, always. And maybe you have let past pain speak louder than future promise. Don't, because the past may explain wounds, but it does not define destiny. And maybe God is inviting you to lift your eyes again, to expect again, to dream again, to believe again, because perhaps there is far more ahead than fear lets you imagine. And if so, then this season is not an ending. It is a runway, and runways look ordinary until flight begins. Maybe flight begins soon. There is something powerful about what grows in secret, because secret growth often looks like nothing before it becomes everything. Think about roots. No applause underground, no visible evidence, no dramatic signs. Yet life is forming, quietly, deeply, powerfully. And maybe that is what is happening in you. Maybe while you thought nothing was changing, something was growing. Strength, discernment, endurance, capacity, hidden things. And hidden things often matter most, because what supports visible fruit is usually invisible. And maybe God has been strengthening invisible things. Your foundation, your spirit, your thinking, your faith, things people don't applaud, but heaven values. And maybe you've been discouraged because growth hasn't looked dramatic. But not all growth looks dramatic. Some growth looks like staying faithful when tired, praying when dry, showing up when discouraged, believing when uncertain. That is growth, sacred growth. And maybe you have underestimated what has been forming, because hidden growth often precedes sudden fruit. Read that again. Sudden fruit often has hidden roots. And maybe the fruit you pray for is already being supported by roots growing now, though you cannot see them. And perhaps what feels ordinary is preparation. What feels quiet is construction. What feels slow is sacred growth. Trust what grows in secret. Some of the greatest things do. Sometimes people assume because a season has been hard, the next one will be too. Pain teaches that lie. Disappointment reinforces it. But what if the next season surprises you? What if peace comes where chaos ruled? What if favor appears where doors kept shutting? What if joy returns where heaviness lived? What if the next chapter looks nothing like the last? Because God does new things, unexpected things, beautiful reversals. And maybe you have expected too little because suffering lowered vision. But maybe vision rises again today, because maybe the next season carries things you have not imagined. Open doors, new relationships, unexpected healing, fresh purpose, restoration, breakthrough. And maybe you are closer to that shift than you realize, because often people sense only the pain ending. They don't sense new beginnings approaching. But beginnings can approach quietly before they announce themselves. And maybe your new chapter is nearer than your fear predicts. Would you let yourself believe that? Really believe it? Because expectation matters. Faith sees ahead. Fear only remembers behind. Choose vision. Choose expectation. Choose openness. Because maybe the next season will surprise you with goodness. And maybe this prayer is helping you prepare for it. What if, right now, you are standing at the edge of more? More than survival. More than repeating old cycles. More than getting through. More. And maybe you feel something in your spirit that senses it. Something shifting. Something stirring. Something calling. Pay attention to that. Because holy stirring matters. It often precedes movement. And maybe God is stirring you because more is near. More peace. More calling. More impact. More freedom. More life. And perhaps what this whole season has been doing is bringing you to this edge. The edge of more. And edges can feel scary because edges require trust, stepping, movement. But edges also mean possibility. And maybe possibility is where you stand. Today, not someday. Today. And maybe all this time, you thought you were merely surviving, bringing you here to more. And if that is true, then don't shrink back now. Step forward. Believe bigger now. Pray bolder now. Expect deeper now. Because perhaps your next chapter is not small. Perhaps it carries more than you have dared imagine. And maybe you are standing at its edge right now. So breathe, trust, move, because you may be closer to more than you know. And one day, you may look back and realize this was the season God prepared me for more than I could see. And everything changed there.